Welcome, innovators and game changers, to Compete on Awesome with AI, your roadmap to harnessing AI power in your business journey. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find your industry completely transformed by AI. Exciting? Terrifying? Maybe both. But here's the thing, you don't have to navigate it alone. I'm Susan Frew, an entrepreneur and business owner just like you, and I'm here to be your tour guide through the world of practical, usable AI. Having built and scaled many businesses myself and saved $170,000 and counting from my budget for 2024, I know firsthand the challenges you're facing and the game-changing potential for AI that holds for all of us. In these episodes, you will join us as we explore AI tools you can implement today and boost your efficiency, how to stay ahead of the AI curve without breaking the bank. And we're not here to talk about science fiction fantasies. We're here for real, actionable strategies that you can use to compete and win in this AI-driven world today. So join us, whether you're a solopreneur working from the kitchen table or a CEO leading a team of hundreds. This is your guide to not just surviving, but thriving in the AI revolution. If you're ready to turn AI from a buzzword into your secret weapon, let's dive in and compete on awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Frew, and welcome to Compete on Awesome with AI, where we share with you ways to use AI in your business right now, step by step. And I bring with me experts who can help explain and make sense of the AI that you can be using. And today I'm delighted to have Peri Shawn here with me from Toronto, Canada, a member of National Speakers Association here in the United States and the Canadian Speakers Association. And I am so excited to have you here. And I'm going to meet you in person in less than a week. So I'm really looking forward to that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Peri Shawn, could you tell us a little bit about your organization and what exactly you folks do and what type of clients you work with?
Great. We've been in the training business and speaking business for 25 years. And yeah, so we've been around. And all of our business has been repeat and referral, which is fantastic. And we work with organizations using a body of work that we've developed, which is the neuroscience of selling. So what actually happens in somebody's brain when they make the decision to buy, and then how can a salesperson actually work with them instead of trying to, convince somebody to buy something, instead meet them where they are and help them with the remainder of their buying decision.
Absolutely. And AI has so many great applications for helping sales professionals. I think it's amazing. Something that I stumbled on personally a week or so ago is I was messing around with, as we all do. We're always tinkering with all of these new toys. But I was inside of Google Studio and I took a video of myself with a prospective client. We were having a discovery call, just like you and I are on a recorded call. And I took that entire video, I put it into AI Studio. I had it evaluate the call and help me to create my sales strategy. And then I asked it to create my proposal, and it did it.
Beautiful.
Love it. And I know it was so awesome. And now next steps, I want to go back and take all of the last 6 months or so discovery calls and put them in there, and they have it analyze like what I could have done better, areas that I wasn't asking enough questions, or whatever that looks like.
Yes, beautiful. And I mean, that's the world of sales has changed incredibly. It makes it so much easier because there's no administrative, or reduces the administrative work to a minimum as a byproduct. Yeah. And then I think the increases that I've heard is because we've done a survey of sales executives to find out how much time the AI has saved their teams, and they're coming in ranging, we're equal between 25% into the 50% range is where most people are finding they're sitting. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. It really is mind blowing. But then there's the other side of the coin, all the people who are like taking a back seat and not doing anything, but they're like, oh, well, it's going to change. It's going to do this. It's going to innovate, and I think that's a mistake. How do you feel about that?
I totally agree because one of the things that in this new world that we're in is change is going to be our best friend. Because what we find, we've created our own AI platform that we customize for our corporate clients. And what we've discovered is what we think is, a sure thing this week. Another piece of technology will come out the next week, which will make us go, oh my gosh, it's time that we shift and adapt what we've done. And and I'm not overstating it. It's weekly that there's something that comes out that impacts the world of AI. And so as a leader trying to implement AI in your organization, that we used to talk so much about agile projects. Well, this is agile AI is what you think works today. It will work ongoing, but you can make it even better going forward. And I think that's what we all need to be ready for, is not get attached to what we've got now, but to be able to look at the AI stack that we are using and go, that'll serve this purpose now, but not necessarily in the future. Yeah.
Agreed. It happens to me all the time. I'll be working on something and then all of a sudden something new will come out. But I'm sure that you and I can both agree on the amount of time and effort it takes to keep up on all of the
Oh,
news.
oh. I, I, anybody who says that they can keep up on it all, uh, I, even with the assistance of AI to help us with keeping up on all of the latest, it's not possible. There's just so much happening so quickly, and as a leader trying to decide on what to do, I think it starts with, what is your sales process? And what works for someone else may not necessarily work for you.
Hmm.
But if you look at your sales process and then decide what parts you're going to use AI within that sales process, I think that's the best approach dynamically. My bias is use it just as you gave the example. You can use it to create proposals. You can use it to, summarize and bring out the best ideas and develop strategy. But my suggestion, there are some AIs I've sat in on. The reveal of certain products and where you listen to the AI talk and sell a product to someone else. Um, I'm a believer that we still keep that relationship between another individual, human to human,
Hmm.
just because there's a connection that happens there. The research shows that we all buy an emotion justified by logic. And so, therefore, why would we give and delegate the actual sales conversation to something that doesn't have the experience of emotions?
Yeah. And my vision for the future is just that if we can delegate all of the minutia tasks, the things that are irritating, low value,
Yeah,
low enjoyment, and allows us to be in our zone of genius more hours of the week, then we're just going to be more productive and happier. I think, like, if I could ditch all the things I don't enjoy doing to AI, have at
exactly.
it.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% on board with that. And then just this week, this last couple of days, so I'm going to give us a timestamp here. It is July 21st, 2025. So these, this will change in 5 minutes. So we need to always be time stamping these big announcements. But
Yeah.
last week, OpenAI, once again, the big surprise reveal, as only OpenAI can do, uh, launched their agents. And
Yeah.
everyone has been waiting with bated breath for agents. And on top of that, there's been a lot of people who've been sort of making their own ish, right? And using zaps and different products and what have you, and creating agents, but there has not really been a plug and play until right now.
Hmm. And
Interesting.
yes, and I think the other, I was listening to Eric Schmidt, the former, the ex-CEO of Google,
Hmm.
and he was talking about where we're going with AI as well. And I think this just helps you think a little differently because a lot of individuals, these are all new terms and new things that they haven't heard before, like agents, etc. Um, and he was talking about how we're going into a new world where there will be no interfaces, that we won't have windows, we won't have, and so it is a lot of thinking outside of the box and being very creative. And I think the arrival of agents with OpenAI um, is going to change the sales process in a way. I mean, one of the things that many leaders complain about with sales teams is that they, don't do the paperwork, they don't fill in, the CRM, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
I think going forward, these things will just naturally flow. I mean, you have the conversation, it summarizes, it puts the information in the appropriate places, et cetera, within the
Hmm.
CRM, and ta-da, you've got all the data and everything that you need. And it's an exciting time in which to be in business and to be working on these things.
It's exciting and exhausting all the same because no matter how many hours of the day that you and I try to study AI, like I seriously commit 6 to sometimes 10 hours a week of learning new things. And,
Yes.
it's a slog sometimes. And I had someone in one of my audiences say, it seems like you fiddle around with this stuff a lot. I'm like, I do, because that's how you figure out how it works. And,
Yeah.
it's not, it's a lot of trial and error. And even if you're watching like live demos on YouTube or what have you with, AI practitioners, they're like, oh, yep, that one didn't work. Let's try it this way. And it's a lot of hunting and pecking. And then eventually, you find what works. And so I like to say, first of all, what you said earlier, going old school before you go new school. You have to
Yeah.
effectively map out the workflow in your organization and what
Right.
works and what doesn't. And until you do that, you're just slapping AI on something that you don't even know where it should go. You're just using
Bingo.
it to use it. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. I mean, so many, and I think the biggest challenge a lot of leaders have is that their sales process is not up to date. And do they have it really clear by product and or service that they're offering?
Hmm.
And so I think that's the fundamental core piece, because if you don't have that right, how do you expect the AI to be functioning within that system appropriately? And it makes a big difference
I also
dynamically.
think that you need to bring all the right people around the table. So if you're trying to implement AI in your organization, if you don't have the buy-in from your employees and team members and
Right.
leadership team, it's not going to fly because there'll be some people intentionally are not going to go.
Yeah. And we have what we call the champions, and the champions are the ones who go first,
Hmm.
and they are the ones that are uh, the ones to show the others in the team what kind of results they can get, how easy it is to use, and then they
Hmm.
become the tutors, mentors of the rest of the team to integrate it. But if you try and integrate AI to an organization all at once, um, there the reception is not the greatest. But if you have the champions go first, they
Hmm.
give the feedback, work out all the kinks of what works in their world, because even if you have the world's greatest AI, it's about their world and how it works, and supporting them with their sales conversations. Then once they have, worked out all those little kinks, etc., then they can be the ones to really ensure that it integrates within the organization.
And another buzzword, you talked about that earlier, like all these new buzzwords, and everyone's like, what does that mean? frontier firm is really it came out in the Microsoft Work Trend report, and everyone's been talking about it ever since. And part of that study was saying that we're going to have frontier firms that will manage a bunch of different agents. So those employees internally who understand how those functional areas work, they have the ones with the really strong job security, because there has to be humans in all of these pieces. And,
Yeah.
people who are dragging their feet and don't want to learn or don't want to make the adjustments are unfortunately going to suffer for that later on down the line.
Most definitely. One of the things that we asked in this, we've done a survey of sales executives and their implementation of AI. And one of the questions is about, are you, one, is it a skill that you require your salespeople to have? Is it
Mm-hmm.
one that you're looking for, and is it in the job descriptions when you're hiring? And interesting enough, the expectation is that the salespeople have these skills with AI, which yet when we look at the amount of training they've had, when we ask those questions, there isn't a lot of training that they've provided them. They've gotten generative AI training, but that's it. And basically how to use ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Um, so here we are. The expectation of it is there, and also it's also in the descriptions going forward. So I think that'll be a if they're someone in an organization that doesn't have those skills or isn't working on developing those skills, uh, and even if your organization's not offering them, there's so many ways to get AI training, fundamental and even more detailed on the web at no cost. So there's lots of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI literacy is going to
Yes.
be the word moving forward. It's going to be, as you say, in job descriptions. It's going to be discussed in the boardrooms, the strategic planning sessions, the vision for the future, and it's just not going to be an option.
Yeah.
I think there's very few vocations where AI is not going to touch certain areas. If you're the smallest mom and pop business, it's actually really good for you if you are an entrepreneur in a small business, because
Mm,
now all of those services that you were paying for can now be reduced once you train the AI to do it for you. But that's the one thing. You have to train it to do what you need properly by mapping your workflow and understanding what you're doing. And then you run into the subscription addiction problem, which is something that I suffer from. So I have a
yes.
subscription to everything. And, every once in a while I have to look back and go, wait a minute, am I using all this stuff?
Mhm. Yeah. And that's the reason why starting with your sales process so that you can say, great AI, but it doesn't fit into my model right now. And maybe it's something that we can look at, or where can it fit within our dynamic? Um, because to me, yeah, I'm guilty of the same, of purchasing subscriptions to different things because they look so cool. But a great place to start if somebody is just playing is Poe AI, Poe.com. And it has free versions of all of the AI. It also has it in different languages as well, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And that way you can test them before you dig into your pockets in order to spend the money for it.
I use ChatHub.gg a lot too, and that is $19 a month, but it has, I think, 15 different AIs that you can use. And
Mhm.
what I like about it too is you put one prompt, and you can see the response from six of them at a time, and it kind of gives you an idea of like, are there hallucinations here? Or they all have a similar
Yeah.
thing, and sometimes it's almost verbatim,
Mm.
which really is funny to me, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Talking about training.
So tell us the type of companies that you work with, because I want our audience to be able to hear, what's available to them out in the market, and how you take people through the process, and let's hear about how you do that.
Okay. So most of the work that we do is in financial services of some kind. We do work also in industries that are highly technical or highly regulated.
Okay.
Um, we also like environmental engineering, which is a very highly technical world as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's diversity, and we also have diversity globally. Um, and so in terms of our process, when we don't see AI separated from training. Okay. So when
Okay.
we go in, the first thing we do is diagnostics because we're working with the people, okay, to help them
Mm-hmm.
sell more. And so we go in, we do our diagnostics and our interviews to figure out where are the needs for support of the team. Okay. So we make sure that they've got those pieces. And then the AI comes in as a 24/7 support. It's like a sales mentor and sales coach for the team to make sure that what they've learned becomes stable. Okay, so if they're about to meet with a client, instead of calling their sales manager and go, hey, what about this and what about that? It's okay, what's the sales strategy? What do I know about this particular client? Of course. And then we get into the brain science of what questions would be best for this individual. What is the best thing to say that will engage their brain the most? What do I say after I share that little bit? So there's all these pieces that are designed according to how a conversation based on their brain. So we design uh, because we find out what their needs are, we may recommend, you might want to try this particular AI, depending on what their sales process
Mm-hmm.
is. Because part of the interview process and figuring it all out is what is the sales process. But we will say, have you looked at this AI to support you? Have you considered this? And then we talk about the possibility of a customized AI to actually help them, which is a combination of the neuroscience of selling and their actual their product or services, whichever they are. And then it becomes this nice little baby that supports the team 24/7, no matter where they are, which is handy.
I love that so much. And I think that's so important for you to be able to dig really deep that way and to let people be who they are with the neuroscience, right? So be the very best you can be authentically
Yes.
with what you bring to the table. I think that's amazing. So how can people get in touch with you?
My name is Peri Shawn. That's Peri. And the best way is probably through LinkedIn. And if they want to connect there, and um, yeah, they'll also find I have the AI Intel for Sales Executives, which is my newsletter, and it will help them. And it's more about the strategy of how to approach AI, how to think about it. Like, for example, one of them was about the AI manifesto. So, what are you doing with your AI as your standard amongst your
Mm.
team? And how often are you updating it? Are you changing? Because as AI evolves, I think our strategy around AI as a team improves, and we've used a lot of great resources to help us develop our AI manifesto. We work with the Vector Institute, which is the a recent Nobel Prize winner in the world of AI, is the
Wow.
founder of the organization. So it's great. We get invited to some of their events, and we appreciate getting the opportunity to experience Jeffrey Hinton, the Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, so and part of um, the newsletter is sort of getting people to think a little differently about what they're implementing. Like, for example, do you have a diversity, equity, and inclusion? sort of process in the training of your AI to make sure it meets your standards. And also, if you look at the newsletter, you'll find where a survey is that if you're interested in participating about what works and what doesn't work for you with regards to AI. Yeah.
Well, it has been a pleasure getting the opportunity to meet you and hear all about what you're doing in the world. And I love it. And I'm so excited to meet you in person. And we are both getting our CSPs officially, certified speaking professionals, which I'm going to do a whole session on that because it's a lot of work, folks,
It is.
to earn that. When you see that CSP, you can be guaranteed that somebody on the other side of that has worked very, very hard for a long time to get it.
And has helped a lot of people. So
that's right. Exactly.
I'm looking forward to seeing you there and celebrating with you.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us on Compete on Awesome with AI, your single source place to find out how to use AI right now in your business.